Hey everybody, today I'm going to do a video on the new theme deck. This is the Drednaw Theme Deck that came out alongside the Vivid Voltage expansion. There were two new theme decks, a Drednaw deck and a new Charizard deck. And so this video is kind of how to get the most out of this Drednaw deck when you're playing it in theme events. Theme events in particular are the best way to get tradable booster packs without spending any actual money in the Pokemon trading card game online. So I highly recommend, if you are new to the game and you are grinding for cards and not spending any real life money on packs or anything like that, that you pick up a strong theme deck and then you go up here into events and then enter the theme deck events there in order to win tradable packs. You get one pack for each game that you win. Alright, so jumping into the deck, Drednaw is pretty strong on its own because Vice Wave for 3 energy, it does 80, and then if you play Nessa from your hand this turn, it paralyzes the opponent. Guaranteed paralysis is really good in theme deck format, especially if you're just on back and forth, each gaining one prize each turn, or trading 2-hit KOs so that you can get ahead by one prize each turn. A lot of times in theme deck format, paralyzing them for one turn in a format where a lot of decks, if they do have Switch, they're only going to have 2 copies of Switch, and they don't really have guaranteed access to every single card in their deck throughout the whole time. Being able to Nessa, get back whatever you need at that time, being either water energies or a bunch of Arrokudas that you may have discarded by attacking with Cramorant. Speaking of Cramorant, doing 120 for 2 energy is not bad at all in theme deck format, and having the ability to hit that extra step of 180 is really, really good. It's although not guaranteed that you're able to even get all 3 Arrokudas. One can be prized and they can be hard to find, and a lot of times you want to prioritize searching for an Oshawott over like searching for multiple Arrokudas. But just having Cramorant as a potential attacker here is pretty good. But the main star of this deck is Samurott. I think having 160 HP makes it as buff as Dragonite, but the big I think clincher here is the shell armor ability, which makes it take 30 less damage from attacks, which brings its HP up to effectively 190. So if you want to one-hit KO it, you have to hit at least 190, which is very hard to do in theme deck formats. The new Charizard with Leon, provided it has some Leons in the discard, can knock it out. But in that Charizard deck, their second biggest attacker, being Magcargo, hits for only 180. And so 180 with shell armor will not knock out the Samurott. Same thing with if you're in the mirror against an opposing Cramorant, 180 does not do it. This thing can't be knocked out by a Dragonite. Even Charizard from the Relentless Flame struggles to knock this out. Nidoqueen in that deck is going to need quite a bit of evolution Pokemon in order to knock it out. So Samurott can tank a lot of hits. It's at least a 2-hit KO against most theme decks. But this Aqua Wash ability, putting 2 energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon into their hand, is really good against a lot of theme decks. The Charizard and the Charizard Relentless Flame and the Dragonite theme deck, I think, are the ones hurt the least by this kind of soft energy denial, where the energy, instead of being discarded, is put back in the hand. 120 is also nothing to scoff at, but putting 2 energy into the hand in a format where, I don't know, a lot of other theme decks that aren't Charizard or Dragonite rely on BD for energy acceleration, or potentially flipping heads on a turbo patch, if you're talking about the Darmanitan theme deck or the Galarian Surfetch theme deck. This can be really, really strong, and if you get an early Samurott, not only can you tank for multiple turns, but you can deal out a lot of damage at the same time as denying your opponent energy. Wishiwashi gives you a new hand of 8 cards, so I mean, for a useless Pokemon, it is not that useless at all. I would kind of prefer this actually in a lot of situations over the attacks that for 1 energy they just draw you 2 cards, because it's almost better to like play as much as you can out of your hand, especially with a large number of basics. You got 3 Oshawotts, you got 3 Barraskewdas, you got 3 Chewtles, 2 Cramorants. You can play a lot of basics out of your hand. You can play Great Ball to find those basics, Sonia to find you even more basics early, get them onto the board, attack with Wishiwashi, get a full new hand. you have the regular draw on this hop, and a lot of the new theme decks are also including Dan, which is kind of a 50% chance that you draw 4 cards, but normally you draw 2. It is better than, what was the other card? Bug Catcher in the Dragonite theme deck, where it really just is a 50% chance. You flip a coin, and then if it's heads, you draw 2 more cards, so you can get up to 4. Whereas Rock, Paper, Scissors does take a little bit more skill. The types of skill that Rock, Paper, Scissors introduces is strange and interesting, and revolves around a whole nother layer of concepts, which I don't even know how to begin to understand. But for the sake of argument, we can say that Dan is effectively like a 50% chance to draw 4. But I don't know, if you're really good at Rock, Paper, Scissors, you could probably bring that up. BD makes this deck really good. It gives you that energy acceleration you need for certain Pokemon that just have high attack costs. 3 and 3 here. Like, you'll probably need 1 or 2 BDs. Not that energy is hard to come by. You can get it back into your hand with Nessa. You can search it out the deck with Sonia. And you have 2 research, which research in a theme deck, very, very strong. So far, there's no useless cards at all in this deck. And I think this deck is really, really good. One of the few downsides, I think, is this lightning weakness. Both Samurott and Drednaw are weak to lightning, as well as Cramorant 2. The Dragonite deck does play Thunderous, and also the Lantern, which can hit you for weakness. So that is one of the ways that the shell armor can be pierced, as well as potentially, even though it hasn't been as popular in the past, if this deck becomes much more common in theme events, people can play the old Raikou deck that puts lightning in the Lost Zone to do damage. So that could potentially also have a bad matchup, or it could be a bad matchup for this deck. Yes, but other than that, I think against the Charizard deck, you're really well poised. You're hitting for weakness, and you're resisting hits from Magcargo with your active Samurott. You can paralyze the opponent's decks. Against most other theme decks, I think this deck is just a very, very strong choice, just because of the toolbox of different attackers you have. Between Cramorant just doing high damage for low cost, you have paralysis if you use Nessa, and you also have energy denial in addition to tanking on a big attacker, which is a lot of kind of tools that in different matchups you can kind of navigate which Pokemon you're going to use at one time, and as long as you allocate your resources really well, you should be able to pilot this theme deck to success. Anyway, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and commenting helps the channel a lot. I make videos on theme format and standard as well, and maybe some expanded coming up too. So be sure to subscribe, help the channel out. I have lots of other videos on the different theme decks, from Dragonite to Groudon to Kyogre, all the good ones. So if you are new to Pokemon, be sure to check that out. Definitely theme deck events are the best way for new players to grind for those tradable packs for free without spending any in-game money. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Thanks.